Welcome back, combo fans. Bryant Cook here, and I haven't uploaded any videos in 4 days. I'm sorry. I went to the Legacy Pit Open in Frederick, Maryland over the weekend, where I had a top 16 finish playing Legacy with the Epic Storm. I have a tournament report coming out in just a few days, so keep a lookout for that. But today I am playing 4-color Lurrus Lotus Breach featuring the green splash, which is not the common splash at the moment. So we're a base Grixis deck, and then most people right now are testing out white for Prismatic Ending. That said, I think Ending doesn't actually give you anything that Grixis doesn't. Where if you're playing green, you get Veil of Summer, which is great against the blue decks. Granted, it doesn't stop Endurance, but it's much better versus blue. And you get Abrupt Decay. And Abrupt Decay is the real reason to play green, in my opinion. So if you're looking at how decks in the format are trying to combat Lurrus Lotus Breach, a lot of them are blue decks and they're playing Chalice of the Void right now. Imagine that. You're playing a blue-based control deck and you're running 2 to 4 copies of Chalice of the Void. That's actually the norm right now. Due to the Izzet Tempo deck, these control decks are just running Chalice and looking to crush, using Chalice. So we need to be able to beat Chalice of the Void out of a blue deck. So you can try to resolve your Prismatic Endings and force those through even though all your protection spells cost 1, or you can just run Abrupt Decay. And I think Abrupt Decay is the reason to be splashing a color at the moment, so I am running green. And a lot of what you're seeing here is similar to what we played in our last League video that I uploaded last week, featuring 2 copies of Pact of Negation. So here we have our Breeding Pool is our green source that you can fetch for Veil of Summer. We have 2 Veils in the board, 1 in the main. You could run 2 Pact main, but I want 3 Veils total to combat the black decks in the format. And this just seemed like a free slot to swap out with the Pact. They're pretty comparable. So I am running a Veil and a Pact. Still 21 lands. We are only running 1 basic because we're running a Breeding Pool. I don't think you're allowed to cut the Watery Grave count, so only 1 basic, 2 Breeding Pools. Still 4 Mishra's Bauble. The card is broken. Some of you have been asking, like, could I cut Bauble for Consider? Consider is the card that we're playing today that's brand new, and we're running it over Sleight of Hand. So it's much like an Opt, except you get to surveil a card to the graveyard. Not actually keyword surveil, but same thing. You put a card to your graveyard, draw a card. And now we have 2 cards that accelerate us into Underworld Breach, which is fantastic. And then we have Serum Visions, which digs the deepest for Lotus. So we have these 2 fast draws, and then the one that digs the deepest for Lotus. That's the game plan. For today's video, I will be boarding out Serum Visions and keeping in Consider. That way we can see how Consider is more often. That said, in general, I think it's probably correct to board out Consider and keep in Serum Visions. But it really depends on the speed of the matchup. If it's a fast matchup, you probably want to keep and Consider, board out Visions, and if it's a slower matchup, maybe you want the Serum. That would be my recommendation. And then, yeah, a lot of this looks similar, like I said. No copy of Grapeshot, that was in our last video. The real reason to play Grapeshot in the main deck was to kill Dauthi Voidwalker, which has sort of disappeared out of the metagame. So without that, you don't really need a main deck Grapeshot as a removal spell. So we're just running a pure kill 'em dead combo deck using Wish to fetch our win condition, which is Thassa's Oracle. And Thassa's Oracle is in our sideboard today over Grapeshot for the same reason. Grapeshot was there to kill Voidwalkers. If Voidwalker's not seeing play, Oracle offers us a little bit more flexibility, being able to be, infinite life out of Heliod. That said, Heliod was always a very good matchup, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. On top of, control decks with Blossoming Calm or Weather the Storm. So we don't have to worry about those things anymore. Thassa's Oracle just wins straight through them. You don't have to worry about Storm count, but that said, by the time you can cast the Thassa's Oracle, you should have Lethal Storm. Yeah, so that's the game plan, in my opinion. Pretty similar. 1 copy of Explosives, because we still want a Void Snare to board in. That's one thing I've really learned over the last month or so playing this deck, is I really like having a Void Snare to board in to get with Witchclaw. Because everything else costs multiple mana to answer other than this Void Snare. So we're running 2. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask those in the comment section down below. It also helps us get into that lovely YouTube algorithm, which I would greatly appreciate. So leave a comment, even if you don't have a question. Why not? And while you're down there, if you haven't already, please subscribe. We are trying to hit 5,000 subscribers this month. We are so close. As of right now, we are 20 people away. So if you are not subscribed, please do so. It would mean a lot to me. Trying to hit my yearly goal of 6,000. We have about 4 months. We are on pace to do it. So I would appreciate your support. Yeah, and if you want to go to the next level, we do offer memberships. That join button is right next to the subscribe button. And in our middle tier, our Stormtrooper tier, you can ask for a sideboard guide for this very deck. So if you're interested in playing Lurrus Breach or whatever you'd like to call it, out of order, I don't care. You can ask for a sideboard guide, because in our middle tier, we do offer 2 sideboard guides every single month on top of 50% off a donation deck. But we have great benefits in every tier, so make sure to check those out. We also have donation decks over at theepicstorm.com, as well as a ton of card singles over at the shop, and sweet store merch, including our token pack, where you also get Ave tokens for Slime Time, and then Goblins and Squirrels for Empty the Warrens and Chatterstorm. Keeping this intro short today, at least I'm trying to. I just want to get playing Magic, maybe replicate some fools out of the game. I'm excited to play this list today. This is my second league with Consider. The first league was pretty good. I just didn't record it. I wanted to test a little bit. And in that league, I faced tons and tons of that Chalice of the Void blue nonsense. So we are looking to beat that today. And hopefully it goes well. I'll see you in match number 1. I know you're not going anywhere, so I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'll see you in match number 1. Welcome to round number 1. We are about to reveal our Lurrus and start battling. Our opponent has not revealed a companion. I don't know why they wouldn't. But we have a hand that has access to Lotus despite it being 5 lands. You know, don't judge me too harshly. I'm going to keep this. Alright, SeppStarr, what are you playing? Okay, likely some sort of blue deck. Wish it wasn't a bad draw. I think I'm just going to lead off on Strand as well. This way I can untap Consider, because it's an instant. You don't have to give your opponent any information. Right. So, Watery Grave. Okay. Are we facing a Reanimator deck? That's wild. Archon of Cruelty. Well, we are facing a Reanimator deck, but I don't actually care that much about Archon. Okay, let's cast Consider. No, I want that, I think. Okay, draw. Should I fire off this Inquisition or play Wishclaw? I think it's play Claw. And I'm using the Scalding Tarn instead of playing Watery Grave, because I want the maximum number of cards in my graveyard. So we're going to jam Claw here and pass. Archon does help us put cards to the graveyard. But it looks like, yeah, I was going to say, it looks like we're about to get hit by Prismatic Ending. So we need another way of finding Lotus now. I think I'm going to go get Lurrus here. Lurrus to hand. That's the turn. They missed their land drop last. So I would love something like a Mishra's Bauble for our draw step. Draw. Perilous Voyage. Let's start off by just casting. Actually, I should probably play this out to avoid mana leak. I mean, there's no reason for them to be playing mana leak, but it's like kind of free. Look at all those counter spells, jeez. And they're mismatching. Heathen. Vindicates. Guess we just eat a counter spell here. No reason to play out my Lurrus. They didn't cast the Unmarked Grave. That's strange. Okay, so we can go get the last fetchable land. We don't want to draw any more fetch. Draw. Another Inquisition. Take it. Okay, they're going to let it resolve. They have the looting. Okay. I think we just take another counter spell here. Let's play Vincent. Now they're going to cast the Faithful Mending, discarding this in Burial Rites. Unmarked Grave and Burial Rites, okay. So they still have Vindicate, Counterspell. So they're not going to cast Vindicate wisely. Draw. Their Twiddle. So I could try to cast Wish here, but like Wish doesn't actually do anything that's helpful. I'm just going to play the Watery Grave. That's the turn. We have every fetchable in our deck. We just have to find Lotus. Faithful Mending again. Sure. And if they do tap out for Burial Rites, we can just attempt to... I guess we can't attempt to kill them because we don't have Lotus yet. And they're wisely going to pass here. Draw. The Veil of Summer. I don't need to cast Lurrus here. So they would probably counterspell Lurrus. And if that was the case, we could Veil it. But then they could just untap and Vindicate the Lurrus or Reanimate Archon and make us sack it. And meanwhile, we're not getting any value out of it either, so what's the point? They discarded Vindicate. Right, so they're 1 mana away from Flashback and Burial Rites. Plus Counterspell. Persist. This target. Sure. I'm going to Veil. I want to just try to draw into, because this thing, ooh, that was good. I was going to say this thing makes me discard every turn. I wonder if I should try to bounce the Archon. Maybe countered. Stops me from discarding the Perilous Voyage to it next turn. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do here is cast... If I play Wish... If I play Lurrus... I don't think they're going to counterspell this. But if they do, we can try to win the game. Okay, so that worked. That's Vision. Bobble's good. And I like the Claw. We know that they have Counterspell, Archon, and 1 unknown in hand. What are you drawing? Burial Rites, okay. Play the Bobble. Bobble again. And then we can just play Lotus Field. Then next turn we can try to get our opponent. Alright, so we're drawing Wish Claw and 1 unknown off these Bobbles. I probably should have waited to use the second Bobble until their upkeep, in case they had a discard spell. And here they're going to have Faithful Mending. And now what they can do is, assuming that they draw a land, they can Burial Rites and have Counterspell back up. The Inquisition was good. We have to sack Lurrus, discard a card, which can just be Twiddle. I don't think we need double Twiddle. So in theory, our opponent could have double Counterspell here. Not very likely, but... And they're just going to tap out. Greedy, greedy opponent. That's how you get dead. Okay. Oh. Let's start doing stuff. Okay, Twiddle. Add some red mana. Play this Underworld Breach type card. It's gonna be an easy game from here. We can even bring our cat back from the dead if we wanted to. Right, so at this point we just have to find a Tome Scour. Let's just use this Wishclaw Talisman. Get the Scour. So there is one downside of using Tome Scour as your win con, and it's really small, so I'm not like complaining too much. But there was times where I would not Tome Scour my entire deck and just to like save some information from the opponent. You don't get that luxury when you're playing Thassa's Oracle. Twiddle. 19 cards left. Scour. Pretty stacked graveyard. We have this Pact Negation in here, which is nice. Right, we just have to Tome Scour ourselves 2 more times. Scour. And then the final Scour. At this point, we have no deck. We just have to twiddle our Lotus a few times, play Wish into Oracle. And out of principle, I am not going to remove my cat. My cat's sticking around for the party. Okay, let's twiddle again. Now we can tap this for red. Cast a Wish. And I guess here is a situation where them being at 33, like I could double Grapeshot and just win, but this is going to save me some clicks. Play my Oracle, resolve the trigger, and easy game. We're just Merfolk combo. That's how you can call us. Merfolk combo. Alright. So we're facing some sort of weird Reanimator deck. Veiled Summer seems pretty good. I like those. I don't know how good these decays are going to be. Maybe we want explosives. We have to find 3 cards to cut. Probably shave on Wishes. They're a little bit clunky here. Maybe board out like 2 Visions and bring back in a Wish. Go down to 3 Wish. I'd also like bring in the Void Snare since it's it can bounce a giant creature if it needs to. 8 protection spells too. Don't know. I think I'm just not going to bring in the explosives. I'm going to do Void Snare. It's just a little bit more versatile in case they don't happen to have anything that we care about. This way I can bounce a large creature with the Void Snare where I can't do anything about it with the explosives. Reveal Lurrus. So assuming that this hand ever finds Lotus, it's busted. But we kind of have to draw a land for this Wishclaw. I'm going to be disciplined and mulligan this. I think with these 2 cards, we should just ship it. It's so close, but I think you're supposed to mulligan it. This hand is just so much better. Let's bottom a Lotus and go to Party Town. Because we just boarded in Triple Veil, I am going to hold this Scalding Tarn possibly for a green. Fire off the Inquisition. Okay, Pluto Delta for what? They won't be able to drown and lock my Wishclaw next. I think I'm just going to hit the ending. Oh no, they will, because of Tarn. I forget. Never mind. I guess it doesn't matter. Okay. So do I want to get the green source now? I don't think I do, because we're going to end up sacking whatever land we get here to Wishclaw Talisman. And they're going to counterspell this. And they played Cook. Next turn we can run back another Wishclaw. Grave. So we don't know two of the cards in there. We did not need another copy of Lotus. That one was sacrifice these copies of Grave. Hopefully our opponent just taps out. Like if they like try to like Faithful Mending into Archon, we just win. So we no longer know any cards in there. Grave, okay. Arcana Cruelty. Okay, I believe our opponent is dead. Draw. And they're definitely dead. We should be able to have pack back up here as well. Easy game. Play this Underworld Breach. Maybe I was supposed to float another red there. I don't know. So if I escape these three, okay. I'm just going to go get Scour with the Wishclaw. I don't think we're going to need the pack back up. I guess technically the best thing to do here in case of like Surgical would be Scour, hold priority, and then cast Twiddle. So hold priority, Scour. I have to escape the cards first, and then hold priority, Twiddle. And exile 3 cards that don't matter. Okay. And I think our opponent just doesn't have anything here, so I'm going to be lazy. At this point, it's just making sure that you don't tap out accidentally without twiddling. We get the Pact of Negation, which is great. Yes, Twiddle. Don't need this Veil of Summer. How many cards left to go, too? 28 cards. I think we'll hit Lethal Storm before we would be able to play the Oracle. Not that that matters. It's just like I'm old, saving my wrist. Scour, Scour, Twiddle, tap, blue. Opponent's deck is pretty cool though. It's interesting to see Reanimator in Modern now. From 15. I thought it used to be a thing that it didn't track Storm if there was no cards in your deck. Oh no, we have Ave, my bad. That's why it's still tracking Storm. We have Ave. I'm a dummy. Only a couple more Scours to go. Scour. And our opponent says, really sweet deck, good games. Your deck was really sweet, opponent. It was awfully kind of you for that message. Hopefully you end up watching this, who knows. But we're 1-0 now, playing 4-color Lurrus Lotus Breach, featuring green for Veil of Summer and Abrupt Decay. Obviously Ave, but Ave has been around for a while. Stick around for match number 2. Maybe we'll cast Consider a little bit more in that one. Match number 2, and we are on the play. Let's reveal Lurrus, our companion, our modern commander. And this seems like a no-brainer keep. Once again, no companion for our opponent. Kind of odd. It's fairly rare for me to play a modern league and not just see like 5 companions on the other side of the table. Opponent's going to 5. Okay. Play Bobble. Gonna force my Bobble opponent. Bobble them. This way we get a little bit of additional information before we cast this thing. Ghost Quarter. Interesting. So they're probably on some sort of hate bear stack, maybe? A little bit of modern Death and Taxes without Yorion. We're going to leave the island in our deck. Cast this. Okay, so they're probably an Eldrazi deck, if I had to guess, with the Ancient Stirrings and the Ghost Quarter. I think what we're supposed to do here is take the Hierarch to slow them down. Then we get a draw off of our Bobble. Okay. Misty wasn't an awful draw, but we just really need to find Lotus. I'd be surprised if this wasn't Stirrings. There it is. So something we could do is like get back Lurrus, but it's just going to get eaten by Path. Wish number 3 was not needed. Alright, so we're going to pass and then on their step cast Consider. So it is some sort of Eldrazi deck. We have a very slow hand. Temple. Let's just go get Watery Grave. Yes, I would like to put Twiddle to the graveyard. The perfect place for it. Bobble, okay. And I'm going to go get Lurrus. And then next turn we can use Lurrus to play 2 Bobbles to help dig for Lotus. And I'm just going to pass here because if they draw or have drawn Thought-Knot Seer, they won't be able to get whatever card I draw off Bobble. Stoneforge, okay. They chose not to play the Ghost Quarter. Instead, they played a land that we didn't know about. We know all 4 cards that our opponent will have in hand. The 3 here, and then plus whatever equipment they get, which is Batterskull. Draw off Bobble. Wish for yikes. So I guess we could discard the Path. And then maybe try to get some value out of this Lurrus. Let's consider first. Yeah, I'm going to put that third. Fortunately, this cannot hit the Batterskull, but that's okay. Full playset of Wish in hand. They really don't want to Ghost Quarter. There's Batterskull. Ghost Quarter and 1 unknown. Alright, Wishclaw's not bad. We can use Wishclaw to go get Lotus. So if we use the Claw main phase, they're going to go get Thought-Knot Seer. I don't think we're allowed to do that. Really need another Twiddle effect. Alright, so we're going to take 5 this turn and go to 8. Assuming that they don't have a Reality Speaker. They do have 2 unknowns. One of which was a Humble Garden that they put into play untapped. Is this the Flicker Eldrazi? It is! We're going to 8 like I mentioned, and now next turn they are representing lethal. Okay. Okay, so we want a good draw here. We're officially a third of the way through our deck. Visions was not a good draw. I think we're supposed to just cast Visions. I'll have to Twiddle Batterskull in order to stay alive now. I think Breach is actually fine. Right? Am I crazy? Trying to think about this. So next turn we would play activate Lotus or activate Wishclaw. Yeah, that should do. So we can activate Wishclaw off our land, float 2 mana, play Breach, and then have 1 land left to Dreamscript. Creatures they control get +1/+1. Okay. Begin combat, and I will tap your Batterskull. Well, I guess your Germ Token. If you target Batterskull, you lose. But targeting the Germ Token is acceptable. So we'll take 4 here and go to 4. Our opponent has a Ghost Quarter, but they can't play it because they played Chefet Dunes. Alright, so now we draw the Breach. Fetch. And let's get the island. Go get our Lotus. Okay, now we get our Lotus Field. Add a red, add a blue, play Lotus Field, and let's sack Island, any Watery Grave. Play our Underworld Breach. Okay, and now we will cast Twiddle. Love to Twiddle. LTT. Okay. Twiddle again. Now we can add 3 red. Twiddle. Untap. And now let's cast a Wish. And Tome Scour. Okay, so we've assembled the combo now, and it's just going through the motion. Tap. I think the only way we lose this is if we mess up, so let's just keep a little bit of extra mana floating. Okay. Scour. Scour. Exile some cantrips here. We have 1 mana left, so it's important that we cast Twiddle. Could be Dreamscript, but Twiddle's wipe ordered. It's easier to find when you're escaping cards. Only 10 cards left in deck, so this is going to knock off half of those. Okay, and then this Scour will get the last one. Then we just have to Twiddle a few times. Alright, first Twiddle. Twiddle again. Now we cast Wish. Into Thassa's. Wooch wooch. Game 1 over Green-White Eldrazi. Can't be a good matchup for us, that's for sure. Let's get rid of this Pact of Negation and the Veil of Summer. They're not going to do a whole lot here. Bring in the Void Snare. Bring in Explosives. I think we want Decay, and I think we also want this Ave Progenitor Ooze. Let's leave 1 in the Wish board for Wish, but I think we want these. I don't know if we even want these Inquisitions. I'm not sure. So I think I'm going to board like this for now and just keep our deck full of answers. Like Inquisition doesn't hit Thought Knot Seer, which is a big deal. I don't know if they play Chalice or Thalia. I guess we'll find out. It doesn't hit the Stoneforge targets, so I think Inquisition might be a little bit poopy. Okay. Once again, a hand without Lotus. They're keeping 7 this time. I think we can do better. I'm gonna ship this one. Oh, that hand stinks. Sure. We can bottom Ave and Wish. Hopefully we just draw Lotus and slam dunk this Ave. Temple Garden. The Hierarch. Very good start for the. Not going to use the fetch lands just yet. We do want the fetches in our graveyard, but we also know we have 2 dead cards on the bottom. I don't know. It doesn't really matter all that much, but it's pretty free to just play pull tapped here. We'll draw, or Matter Reshaper. Another Twiddle. Okay. So if we can draw a Lotus off the top, we are in business. Cavernous Holes. Eldrazi, not surprised with that. Here comes likely Thought Knot Seer. Alright, Displacer, that's. So they can flicker Ave tokens to kill them for what it's worth. Get this Watery Grave. We're gonna need to draw something good and quick. Draw. Okay. I guess I cast the Visions. Ding. So I think what I'm supposed to do is, if I want to Ave, I should hold the Visions for a turn. Because I can't Visions into Lotus. I guess the downs, or never mind, I should just draw it now. Because I can scry into spells, and if I hit like a Breach or something, it's better. Alright, so let's keep Consider on top. I can just play Lotus here. Yeah, that's just better. Looking to draw something really good off that Consider. So going into next turn, we'll have 3 mana plus 6 mana, which is 9, 10 mana. But so then 9 with Consider. So a second Ave off the top is not good. They have 3 cards in hand. 4 mana, 5 mana. Sure. It is. So we're gonna take 11 here. Yikes. Alright, Consider, it's your time to shine. We know that they have Path, but I don't want to go to 1, so I'm just going to get the basic. So in theory, I could keep this and then destroy the Displacer. Is that a bad idea? And this may pay 2 of this into, yeah, or activate abilities. So 2, 3, they can double displace. I think I want to keep this. So I can tap Lotus for 3 blue, which allows me to cast all of these. And it would be green, green, black. I think I'm going to keep DK. So now we do green, tap, black, tap, and then green. Okay, kill the Displacer. Just slime time. Okay. Is that good enough? I don't know. So I'm just trying to figure out like what our best line is here. So we also have to play around another Reality Smasher off the top. Effet Dunes. Okay, so they can turn their Smasher into a 6/6. Oh, it's not counters, it's until end of turn. Okay. Interesting. So activate as a sorcery. Am I missing something here? There's got to be some sort of trick that I'm not understanding. Okay. This says as a sorcery. Ah, the opponent doesn't know how to read. Fatal flaw. Ghost quarter, okay. So if they ghost quarter our island, it shuts me off of drawing breach as a way of continuing the combo. Speaking of the devil, so if I swing out, they'll block this. Then I don't like how it rearranged that. It's so weird. So about 10, 18, 20. But it appears that it's still lethal. But I can also just tap down their hierarch. Twiddle or Lotus, because why not? Okay. Then let's cast a Consider. Now we're going to cast these visions. Consider for life. Wow, our opponent is saying some pretty rude stuff in chat. Wow. Okay, we are now 2-0. Hey there, round number 3. Once again, no companion. Wow. Crazy league. And as a snap keep. Definitely keep. Alright, so we're on the draw once again, though. So we just have to stay alive long enough to convert this hand into a win. This hand is likely a turn 4, maybe a turn 5, based on what I'm saying. Island. Okay. We're going to lead off on the Misty. Just because we have these scry effects, we want to maximize their potential. Visions. I don't hate keeping the extra grip. Sulfur Falls and pass, okay. So I'm not going to slam the Wish Claw. I'm just going to cast another Vision. We don't need these. Let's bottom them. And play the pool, why not? So we are just looking for Lotus at this point. Have to find a window to sneak this Wishclaw Talisman into play. Sulfur Falls, okay. There's the Breach. Like I said, we just have to find a window of sneaking Wishclaw onto the battlefield. That's a Brazen Borrower. So I have a sneaking suspicion that our opponent is playing a Through the Breach deck. So I don't want to take too long to win this game. But we do have to carefully plan how we're going to try to resolve this Wishclaw. So I guess I could try to wish here to get them to counter. But I'm not sure what it actually does. I guess I could just like put Lurrus in my hand, right? Put Lurrus. And I think I can just discard the Scour. So they thought Scour themselves into Consider. They did not put that card to the graveyard. Okay, let's get rid of the Scour like I mentioned. We just have to find Lotus. We're a quarter of the way through our deck. We have to worry a little bit about dying here. We're at 7. Wish. So I think I'm going to try to play Wish here to beat a counter spell. And then hopefully they counter this and then I can just jam Claw. I guess if I wanted to, I could have left Breeding Pool untapped and then gotten Abrupt Decay. But the problem with that is it doesn't sell the story that I'm trying to get Lotus off this Wish. Sure. And now we can play our Wish Claw and hope that we can live to see another day. Alright, so we're going to 4 life. Please don't murder me, opponent. Please don't murder me. Let's go get Lotus. Great. Twiddle. I wonder if... No, they're not the Rhinos deck. Never mind. These cards are not in the Rhino deck. Dream Script again. To untap. Now we play Wish. And if this resolves, we can play Pact. We could play another Breach. Okay, so they let that resolve. Now we just play Underworld Breach, I believe. I think I want to float a red. Yeah, because it requires me to twiddle one less time to play the Wish. So if they counterspell this, I can pack from the board. Let's attempt to pack this. Breach. So now we twiddle. Oh, we already have the Tome Scour in the graveyard. We don't need to Wish again. Well, I guess we do for our win condition, but not for the Tome Scour. So this should be pretty. If that was the case, I probably wanted to leave an extra blue up, but it's fine. I can still use that red mana later. Dream Script to untap. Okay. Scour. Need to leave one wish in there, so I need to pay attention to that. I don't want to accidentally remove all my wishes. Twiddle. Okay. Whoops, definitely not for white. Not trying to cast Lurrus here. Scour. Scour again. Okay. Sorry, I know that this is boring to watch. Alright, so we are at the point where we have 2 cards left in our deck. I could Tome Scour them away, or I can just play the Oracle and pack the Bolt that they probably have. Either way, I have to escape again. But I guess technically the Tome Scour costs us mana, where the pack doesn't. So let's just make sure that we can pack later. Okay. Twiddle again. Blue. Play Wish. Proof Twiddle. 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 And now we can play Oracle. And that's a win. Alright. So they are some sort of control deck. I think I want the Veil of Summers. I do think that they're likely a through the breach deck. I don't know if they have Blood Moon or not, but I think that most of the red decks probably do. So let's bring in Abrupt Decay. I don't know if we want Void Snare. If they are in fact a through the breach deck, I don't want Ave. I mentioned this before, but if they're a slower deck, we want Visions, and if they're a faster deck, we want Consider. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to board out Visions so we can see more Consider action. Actually, let's board out You Wish. Let's try this out. Reveal our Lurrus again. Seems fine. Just need to find some light. What a start. That's a pretty good land to find, but we still need a regular land that isn't Lotus Field. Let's bobble. See what they have coming. They have a Consider coming off the top. And Inquisition. Well, if that isn't a Blood Moon, let's get that trash right out of here. So you might be thinking, well, Bryant, you have an Abrupt Decay. Why would you get rid of Blood Moon? Well, what if I don't draw a green next draw or two? I just lose the game. So we're not trying to do that. Draw, hopefully a land. Sure. Land. Alright. Murktide. So it looks like they're just like a blue mid-range deck. There's our land I wanted. That's good. They kept whatever card it was, so Relic. It's a little bit of a pain, but we do have this Abrupt Decay. And we can sneak in the Lotus, or the Wishclaw here. So now that we know this isn't a Through the Breach deck, I can board an Ave for if there is a game 3. Hopefully there's not, but just in case there is. What you thinking about, opponent, you coward? Now I can Abrupt Decay the Relic on their end step and then untap and Lotus Field them to death. Alright, so if I give this to them, that they can go and get something on their turn with it, but we will have Abrupt Decay up. I think I'm fine with that. I'm going to get Breach. Now the Brazen Borrower fizzles. So it's worth noting that even though we have Breach, I do not have Tome Scour yet. So it would actually be good for us if they activated the Wishclaw. Alright, I'm going to Abrupt Decay the Relic in case I have a good draw here. They're still 2 mana away from being able to Blood Moon me. And if they use Relic here, they do not have Counterspell up. Ooh! I know a sneaky line we could do. So Abrupt Decay, we can Abrupt Decay our own Wishclaw, which puts it to the graveyard, and then we could Breach it back. It might be insanely mana intensive, but it's an option. That's for sure. I think I'm gonna start on Visions here. Okay, Perilous Voyage is a little bit easier on us. Alright, so whoops, I don't need green. I'm gonna sack the Watery Grave. Okay. Underworld Breach. Ooh, I messed up when I Serum Visions. I should have put Consider on top so I could consider away and then draw the Perilous Voyage. Would have been better. Okay, so let's do this again. Now we can consider, draw this, bounce our claw. Doesn't matter. Now we twiddle a few times and then get our opponent dead. Okay. Dead black, and then we can use the last black mana to search as well. Go get Tome Scour, easy peasy, wheezy. Yep. Scour. And a concession. We are 3060. Love it. Let's see if we can get the next one. All right, we are on the play for the fourth match. Lurrus has been revealed. Let's see if... Okay, we have a pause. This is a companion mirror. 60, so it's not Dorian or Dorian, however you would prefer to say it, some of you weirdos. This hand is great. We'll keep this. Even as a mulligan to 6 with double Lotus, this because we don't have a cantrip, we will use Bobble on ourselves. See what we have going on. Drum. Okay, so this is likely Hammertime. Wow, what a start. Okay. We might not be long for this world. We do not need a turn, so we're going to get rid of that. Wow. We're in trouble. Draw. Okay. We just have to jam Claw here and hope we don't die. Are we going to get turn 2 to Modern? Ornithopter? Please don't turn to me. Please don't turn to me. Okay, we have a turn 3. But our opponent might have a turn 2 here. Oh no, they have it. They had the turn 2. Oh, wow. Getting turn 2 to Modern. We had a turn 3. Oh, that's funny. I mean, you can't be mad about that. Like, it is what it is. Yeah. So let's get rid of this pack, this Veil of Summer. We can bring in explosives, which is pretty good here. Abrupt Decay. And then the Void Snare. These are all cards that we'd want. We're 2 over right now, so we have to decide what this matchup is really about. Unfortunately, I don't think the Sorcery Speed bounce spell is going to be good enough. And I think maybe Abrupt Decay isn't at its best here. So let's just try this. It's not much of an improvement, but we can't bank on our opponent opening up a turn 2 every game. Alright, so we'll reveal Lurrus again. Like a turn 4. I'm supposed to keep this? Okay. I don't love this hand. Please don't turn to me twice. Gotta be kidding me. Wow. I mean, I'm just gonna die and play the Bush Claw again. I mean, it's the right play. Okay. I guess I can bobble them and see if they just have the hammer on top. Please don't kill me again. Land was not what we wanted to draw. Yep. They just have it twice? They've opened up the perfect hand twice. Unfortunately, there's not a, like, I could keep up Twiddle, but like That's not what we're supposed to do. Our opponent nut drew us twice, like literal same exact hand 2 games in a row, unfortunately. So we're now 3-1. Let's just focus on winning round 5. Like sometimes you just get gotten magic, and that's what happened here. No need to dwell on this. Let's just keep a good mind. Get match number 5. I'll see you there. Okay, last match. We're on the draw. Revealing our Lurrus. Our opponent also has Lurrus. And I think we can do better than this hand. Just like 4 lands isn't really what we want. This Tome Scour is essentially a mulligan. You can just leverage the London to a better hand. I mean, technically this one is Lotus, so I guess it's better, but okay, that is what I wanted to do. Sorry, I got nervous for a second. Hammertime again. Okay. Might be... No, that can still be Hammertime. Oh, it was a good draw. Okay. I actually like my Hammertime matchup for what it's worth. Obviously, you might not think that after watching round 4, but it's not that bad. There's the guard is 8. Okay. Are they going to respect Scalding Turn? That's the question. Apparently, no. Oh, no hammer. Okay, so let's go get a Watery Grave. We have the potential to turn 3. I'm not going to play that. I need to get Wishclaw in play. If they have hammer, they have hammer. I just have to get this into play. So next turn we can go and get Breach with the Claw, but we don't have access to Tome Scour, so Scour, Breach, Wish. We have another Claw. We have some outs to a turn 3 here. That said, we could just be dead depending on if our opponent has another hammer. And we're dead. Being on the draw. Yep. Yep. I mean, you're supposed to play the Wishclaw there, so I'm not mad about this. It's just what I needed to do. Let's take a draw, see what I would have hit. Alright, that wouldn't have been a turn. Not looking good for the home team. Bring in the 2 answers again. What was the other one? Oh, yeah, there we go. Alright, let's just try to win this one. On the play for game number 2. Lurrus. Okay, not keeping this. Strip it. And this seems fine. I think we're actually supposed to get rid of the Consider here. So the plan here is turn 1 Inquisition, turn 2 Claw, turn 3 Claw, turn 4 try to win. We're going to bobble them before we Inquisition, that way we get the most info. Bobble. Sanctifier. I don't really care all that much about that card. It's also double weight, which is kind of difficult for them to cast. That said, they did open up double plane. Guess we just take away the Stoneforge. Bobble. Land is whatever. We don't really need more lands, but it's fine. There's a drum. Draw. Just cast Wishclaw. Next turn we can also Wishclaw plus Visions. So the Visions was bad. The Drew Saga. Imagine they play a Sanctifier here. Yep. Oh, sorry, they still have a Planesman. I accidentally clicked it. I'd rather Visions than cast this Inquisition. I guess we get... I mean, it doesn't really matter. Breach is good. We'll keep that around. Okay. So we're drawing Breach. Next turn, we have 3 mana in play. I can tap the island to go get Lotus. Tap the Wishclaw to go get Twiddle. Cast Twiddle. We can't win next turn. The mana doesn't work. Because we could tap the Lotus for red, but then we don't have a blue to escape the Twiddle. Ornithopter, and they have another Sanctifier in hand. They chose not to cast. I'm guessing it's because they want to make a construct. So, trying to think if I give them Wishclaw, am I dead? They can put a hammer into play off of Saga. I don't think I'm dead. Oh, I just gave them an extra artifact. Ah, crap. Okay, so they're going to make a construct. That construct will be a 5/5, 8, 9. And they actually have lethal because I gave them the Wishclaw. That was dumb. So I guess what I can do here then is go get a Twiddle so I don't die. The Twiddle can help me with Breach turn. So this is going to be a large construct. Technically, they could kill me multiple ways here. They could also just Wishclaw, go get Sigarda's Aid, Wishclaw, go get Hammer, and then attack, so that way I can't Twiddle their creature, go get Hammer. But let's see what they choose to kill me with. They get their draw here. Let's see what they decide on. If they have some sort of grave hate, I'm just dead. So they chose to get Hammer, okay. So they can go get Paladin. That's another way they could do it. Okay. So I do get to Twiddle a large creature. So this way is actually worse than the Sigarda's Aid Hammer method, because I do get to tap something down. Okay. They need one more artifact for this construct to kill me. Their last card in hand is Sanctifier, so that doesn't work. Ooh, they can get another hammer. That kills me. Okay, they found the line. Nicely done, opponent. Yeah, they got me. This league made the Hammertime matchup look worse than it actually is. It's actually not that bad, but you wouldn't know it by watching this video. So unfortunately, we lost twice to Hammertime. I'm not going to dwell on that. We got nut drawn, and they had a pair of turn 3s. Like, that happens. So if you wanted to fix the matchup, you could just run a bunch of Fatal Pushes in the board. But Fatal Push isn't good versus a lot of the rest of the format. I don't think it's anything to be upset about. It's fine. Like, you're not going to win every matchup, but I still think that this list is pretty good. I do like green more than I like white at the moment. I don't think silence is worth it. But that said, if you're a fan of white, I do have a donation list coming up with the white list, thanks to Chris Thomas. So it should be out the end of this week, maybe early next week. I still have to record it. I've been behind because I've been out of town, like I mentioned in the intro. But White Lotus is coming up this week, within the next 7 days, I should say. But hopefully you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. I swear Hammertime isn't that bad of a matchup, but I'm sure YouTube commenters are going to let me know otherwise. Thank you for watching. Keep storming. Have a great day. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.